The vast and wild frontier of the Old West was fraught with dangers and challenges. Being properly armed was essential. It was a time of gunslingers, sheriffs, and outlaws, where order was often dictated by lead and gunpowder. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the most iconic weapons that shaped this legendary period. The Colt Single-Action Army, also known as the Colt Peacemaker, was one of the most iconic guns of the American Old West. Developed in 1873, this single-action revolver became a favorite of many gunfighters, lawmen, and settlers living on the border. The Colt Peacemaker fired the powerful .45 Colt cartridge with a 6-shot drum loaded and unloaded individually. This revolver was known for being reliable, sturdy, and accurate, with a simple and robust mechanism that seldom failed. But the Colt Peacemaker had limitations. The gun had a rudimentary mechanism, and the owner had to cock the hammer manually before each shot. This limited the firing speed compared to the double-action guns that would emerge later. The Colt Peacemaker marked the history of the American West. Legendary characters like Wyatt Earp and Buffalo Bill used it, and it became the gun most associated with the Old West era, with a lasting place in American mythology. The Spencer Model 1860 carbine, less well known than some of its contemporary guns, played a significant role in Old West history. It was one of the first mass-produced repeating firearms, giving users a higher rate of fire than most other guns of the time. The Spencer fired a .56 cartridge, which was loaded into a tube positioned in the butt. This allowed for faster reloading and greater ammunition capacity compared to the predominant single-shot rifles of the time. The relatively low power of the .56 cartridges meant that the Spencer was less effective at long ranges than other rifles of that day. The mechanical complexity of the Spencer rifle, although advanced during this period, could make it prone to failure if not properly maintained. Despite these drawbacks, the 1860 Spencer carbine was used in the American Civil War and Old West era, earning it a place in American firearms history. The Gatling machine gun, developed by Dr. Richard J. Gatling during the American Civil War, was a milestone in firearms design, having a prominent place in Old West history. It was also one of the first successful rapid-fire firearms, using a system of multiple rotating barrels to fire shells quickly and continuously. The Gatling fired different calibers depending on the model and could fire hundreds of rounds per minute, an unprecedented rate of fire. It was large, heavy, and relied on a crew of operators to function effectively. While the rate of fire was impressive, the weapon was prone to overheating, and reliability could be an issue with extended use. Still, the Gatling gun was a significant leap in firearms technology and changed armed combat. Although it is most associated with the American Civil War, the Gatling also played a role in the Old West, used by both the U.S. Army and various law enforcement agencies. The Gatling gun remains one of the most iconic weapons of this era. The Springfield Model 1873, also known as the Trapdoor Springfield, was an iconic weapon of the Old West, adopted as the primary U.S. infantry weapon. The rifle became known by the nickname Trapdoor due to the single-action reloading mechanism that resembled a trapdoor. However, this trapdoor mechanism could be fragile and damaged if not handled carefully. The Springfield 1873 fired a .45 government cartridge known for power and accuracy. The rifle was usually fitted with a bayonet, allowing it to be used in close-quarters combat. The Springfield 1873 is remembered for being loyal to the U.S. Army service. It was used in several campaigns during the Old West, including the Indian Wars, and was often associated with historical figures such as George Custer. The sturdiness, reliability, and power made it a valuable tool for American soldiers on the frontier. The Bowie Knife is one of the most iconic weapons of the Old West. It is named after Jim Bowie, a Texas hero famous for his role in the Battle of the Alamo. The Bowie was known for its portly size and distinctive design. The Bowie features a large blade, typically 12 to 30 centimeters long, in addition to a straight back and curved edge. The blade is usually very sharp, and the tip faces forward, making it ideal for slashing or stabbing. The knife typically has a cross-shaped guard between the blade and the handle, protecting the user's hand during movements. But the blade's size and weight can make it difficult to handle for inexperienced people. Despite this, the Bowie knife has become an icon on the American frontier. The versatile design has made it a valuable tool for hunting, camping, and protection. The Bowie became one of the most recognizable weapons of the Old West. The Henry Model 1860 rifle was one of the first successful repeating guns, ushering in a new era in personal gun competition. The high rate of fire and 16-round cartridge capacity made it a terrific weapon in the Old West. The Henry fired the relatively light 44 Henry rimfire cartridge, allowing the user to carry many rounds without significant additional weights. This made the Henry an excellent choice for personal defense and combat use. The Henry 1860 had a lasting impact on firearms history. The high rate of fire and shooting capacity were revolutionary at the time and set the standard for future repeating guns, including the famous Winchester 1873. Many settlers, lawmen, and outlaws used the Henry for protection and combat. The Smith & Wesson Model 3 44 caliber single-action revolver was another iconic Old West weapon. Introduced in 1869, the Model 3 was one of the first revolvers to use metallic cartridges, an innovation with significant benefits in reloading speed and reliability. One of the Model 3's most notable features was its hinge frame design, allowing the revolver to open for quick and easy loading and unloading. It was a major advantage over many other single-action revolvers of the time. Despite the advantages, the Smith & Wesson Model 3 had weaknesses. The hinge action made reloading fast, but also a possible cause of mechanical failure. And the revolver was more expensive than many contemporaries. But the Model 3's accuracy, firepower, and ease of reloading made it popular with many notable Old West characters. Although it has been replaced by more modern designs, the Smith & Wesson Model 3 is one of the most influential guns of the Old West. The Sharps Model 1874 is one of the best-known Old West rifles given its remarkable accuracy and effective long range. This single-shot rifle became the weapon of choice for many bison hunters and long-range shooters. The Sharps 1874 fired multiple heavy cartridges, including the impactful 50 Sharps. The falling block mechanism made loading and unloading the gun simpler. Also, the sturdy build quality ensured its reliability in harsh conditions. An optical sight was also used on the rifle, further increasing efficiency in long-range shooting. But the weapon was large and heavy, hardly suitable for close combat situations or assault attacks. The Sharps 1874 became legendary for taking down targets at long ranges. It played a key role in hunting bison on the American border. Exceptional accuracy made it a popular weapon in target shooting competitions. The Model 1 Derringer, produced by Philadelphia Derringer, was an iconic gun in the Old West. The small stature and double-barrel design made it an ideal choice for concealment and use in close-quarters combat. The Derringer fired a .41 cartridge. While it was not known for power or range, it made up for it by being discreet. Lightweight and compact, the Derringer could be easily concealed in a pocket or bag, making it popular with card players and others who wish to hide a weapon. With only 2 shots available before reloading and limited accuracy due to the small size, it was clearly a last resort weapon. It also had a noticeable recoil for its size, which could make it difficult to control. Despite this, the Derringer made its mark on the Old West. The ease of concealment made it a popular choice for many, and it remains one of the most iconic weapons associated with the cowboy era. Thinking of the Old West is almost impossible without remembering the double-barrel shotgun. This weapon, with 2 side-by-side barrels firing shotgun shells, was highly regarded for its power and reliability. The gun could fire 1 or both barrels at once, depending on the model and trigger configuration. The typical shotgun cartridge contained multiple rounds, making this gun an effective weapon in short-range combat or against multiple targets. But the firing capacity was limited to 1 shot per barrel. While the shotgun was powerful at close range, its effectiveness dropped significantly as distance from the target increased. Despite these drawbacks, the double-barreled shotgun became an iconic Old West weapon. Whether defending a home against potential intruders, protecting against a group of bandits, or in close combat, it proved invaluable. The Winchester Model 1873, known as the gun that won the West, is one of the most iconic of the Old West. Developed by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, the 1873 was a breakthrough in firearms technology. offering a high volume of fire with a reliable repeating mechanism. The Winchester 1873 used the .44 Winchester cartridge, popular due to the compatibility with rifles and revolvers. The tubular magazine under the barrel had a capacity of up to 15 rounds, offering a substantial advantage on the battlefield. Despite the reliability and firing rate, the Winchester 1873 had some drawbacks. The gun needed to be reloaded individually, which took time. The Winchester 1873 stood out for its effectiveness and durability. The gun became essential for frontier settlers, lawmen, and outlaws, setting a standard for later firearms. Its constant presence in Old West stories and iconography solidified it as one of the most influential guns of that era. That's it. Which of these iconic guns is your favorite? I want to know your opinion here in the comments. Don't forget to like and see you in the next video.